And we'll continue with A House Like a Lotus by Madeleine L'Engle. My family knew that something had gone wrong, that something had happened, but they didn't know what, and they respected my right not to tell them until I was ready, or not to tell them at all. Only my Uncle Sandy knew, because Max had called him to come, and he'd flown down to Charleston from Washington. This was nothing unusual. Sandy, with or without Rhea, drops in whenever he gets a chance, popping over to the island en route to or from somewhere just to say hello to the family. Fortunately, I am the oldest of our large family, including our cousin Kate, who's 14, living with us and going to school with us on the mainland, so no one person comes in for too much attention. Mother put her arm around me and kissed me, and there were questions in her eyes, but she didn't ask them. Flights were being called over the blurred loudspeaker. Other people were hugging and saying goodbye. "I think that's my flight number," I said. Daddy gave me a hug and a kiss too, and I turned away from them and put my shoulder bag on the moving conveyor belt that took it through the x-ray machine. I walked through the x-ray area, retrieved my bag, slung it over my shoulder, and walked on. On the plane, I went quickly to my window seat and strapped myself in. The big craft was only a little over half full, and nobody sat beside me, and that was fine with me. I wanted to read. To be alone, not to make small talk. I leaned back and listened to the announcements, which were given first in Greek, then in English. A stewardess came by with a clipboard, checking off names. O'Keefe, Polly O'Keefe, Polly. My passport had my whole name, Polyhymnia. My parents should have known better. I'd learned that it's best if I spell my nickname with only two L's. Polly tends to be pronounced as though it rhymes with pole. I'm tall and skinny like a pole, but even so, I might get called roly-poly. So it's Polly, two L's. Another stewardess passed a tray of champagne. Without thinking, I took a glass, sipped. Why did I take champagne when I didn't even want it? Not because I don't like champagne, not because I'm legally underage, but because of Max and champagne. Too much champagne. At first, champagne was an icon of the world of art for me, of painting and music and poetry, with ideas fizzing even more brightly than the dry and sparkling wine. Then it was too much champagne, and a mouth tasting like metal. Then it was dead bubbles and emptiness. I drank the champagne anyhow. If you have a large family, you learn that if you take a helping of something, you finish it. Not that it was intended to apply to champagne. It was just an inbred habit with me. When another stewardess came by to refill my glass, I said, "No, thank you." A plane is outside ordinary time, ordinary space, high up above the clouds. I was flying away from everything that had happened, not trying to escape it or deny it, but simply being in a place that had no connection with chronology or geography. All I could see out of the window was clouds. No earth, nothing familiar. I ate the meal which the stewardess brought around without tasting it. I watched the movie without seeing it. About halfway through, I surprised myself by falling asleep and sleeping till the cabin lights were turned on. At first, orange juice and then breakfast were brought around. All through the cabin, people yawned and headed for the johns, and there are not enough johns since most of the men used them for shaving. Window shades were raised so that sunlight flooded the cabin. While I was eating breakfast, I kept peering out the window, looking down at great wild mountains. Albania, the pilot told us, rugged, dark, stony, with little sign of habitation or even vegetation. A dark and bloody country, Max had said. Then we flew over the Greek islands, darkly green against brilliant blue. Cyprus. After Athens, I would be going to Cyprus. I had a sense of homecoming because this was Europe, and although we'd been on Beniceid Island for 5 years, Europe still seems like home to me, especially Portugal, and a small island off the south coast called Gaia, where the little kids were born, and where we lived till I was 13. Then we moved back to the United States, to Beniceid Island. Daddy's a marine biologist, so islands are good places for his work, and Mother helps him doing anything that involves higher math or equations. Being brought up on an isolated island, is not good preparation for American public schools. Right from the beginning, I didn't fit in. The girls all wore large quantities of makeup and talked about boys, and thought I was weird, and maybe I am. Some of the teachers liked me because I'm quick and caught up on schoolwork without any trouble, and some of them didn't like me for the same reason. I don't have a southern accent, why should I? So people thought I was snobby. The best thing about school is getting to it. We all pile into a largish rowboat with an outboard motor, and running it is my responsibility. I suppose Zan's taking over while I'm away. Anyway, we take the boat to the mainland, tie it to the dock with a chain and padlock around the motor. We walk half a mile to the school bus, and then it's a half-hour bus ride. And then I get through the day, and it's bearable because I like learning things. When we lived in Portugal, there was no school on Gaia, and we were much too far from the mainland to go to school there. Our parents taught us, and learning was fun, exciting. At school, in Cowpertown, nobody seemed to care about learning anything, and the teachers cared mostly about how you scored on the big tests. I knew I had to do well on the tests, but I enjoy tests. Our parents always made them seem like games, so I did well on them, and I knew that was important, because I will need to get a good scholarship at a good college. Our parents have made us understand the importance of a good education. 7 kids to educate. Are they crazy? Sandy and Denny's will probably help, if necessary. Even so, Charles, next in line after me, will undoubtedly get a good scholarship. He knows more about marine biology than a lot of college graduates. He's tall. We're a tall family, and his red hair isn't as bright as mine. Charles and I were the only ones to get the recessive red hair gene. The others are various shades of ordinary browns. Alexander is next, after Charles, named after Uncle Sandy, and called Zan to avoid being confused. Sandy and Rhea come to Benny Seed so often. Zan is tall, of course, but last year he shot up, so that now he's taller than I am. It's a lot easier to boss around a little brother who's shorter than you are than one who looks over the top of your head. Is a basketball star at school, is handsome and adored by girls. We got along better when he was my little brother. He and Kate team up against the rest of us, especially me. Kate is beautiful and brown-haired and popular. After Zan is Den, named after Uncle Denny's. He's 12, and most of the time we get along just fine, but every once in a while he tries to be as old as Zan, and then there's trouble, at least for me. Then come the little kids, Peggy, Johnny, and Rosie. Because I'm the oldest, I've always helped out a lot, playing with them, reading to them, giving them baths. They're still young enough to do what I tell them, and to look up to me, and accept me just as I am, and I feel more like myself when I'm playing on the beach with the little kids than I do when I'm at school, where everybody thinks I'm peculiar. Under normal circumstances, I would have been delighted to get away from the family and from school for a month. Mother tries not to put too much responsibility on me. Everybody has jobs, but if Mother's in the lab helping Daddy work out an equation, then I'm in charge, and believe me, all those brethren and sisterin have decided me on celibacy. And we will pause there.